Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today I'm so excited for this conversation because this is something I'm looking to doing in 2025.
Perfect timing.
I have Laura, the owner of East Coast Barbell. Thanks for coming to the podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
So let's just start with, what is East Coast Barbell?
So East Coast Barbell is a 24/7 strength training facility, locally owned and operated, obviously, by myself. We are not a big box gym. In our gym, you will find chalk, you will find all the barbells and plates you could ever possibly want, and you will find the best community that exists in the HRM in a gym.
So let's now jump way back. Like, why did you decide to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, good question. So I'm a personal trainer. That is sort of my passion project. I have a full-time job, but I do personal training, and that's what fills my cup. I discovered strength training just before I turned 40, so later in life. And it really led me down a really positive path with, my health and my physical and my mental health.
Oh, wow.
Discovered powerlifting shortly after discovering strength training. And that has led me into wanting to bring other people into that sort of atmosphere and into that positive space. So the best way to reach people is to have a space for them to train. The big box gyms do not allow the same sort of thing that you'll find in this sort of gym.
What are big box gyms?
So a big box gym be like Your Good Life, Fit for Less, Planet Fitness.
So it's
sort
like
of
a
the big
franchise,
corporate,
like
yes,
everybody
exactly,
knows.
exactly. Yeah.
I thought it's literally a big box.
I mean, they are kind of like literally a big
right,
box.
Right.
Yeah. So it's, just wanting to bring people into that space, into like a really welcoming environment, because gyms can be so intimidating for people. If you are a beginner, or you're just maybe not comfortable in that space, like you walk into a space where everybody's got their shirts off and they're posing in the mirrors and they're, just generally jerks. Honestly, that's what happens in that type of space. That's scary. That's scary as hell. Like people don't want to do that. So being able to create a space that is way more welcoming, way more positive. We are completely intolerant of people who are not inclusive. That is a really strong rule of ours. But we've built a really positive community around that. So people who come into the gym, I know every single person who comes into that gym. I know their names. I, communicate with them in a positive way, and I'm encouraging. And all of our gym members are exactly the same way. So if you were to come in and I'm not there, because obviously I can't be there 24/7, somebody in that gym will help you if you have a question about anything in that gym.
Actually, let's talk about that 24/7 thing. How does, literally 24/7?
Literally, we do not close.
So if I remember, how do I use this space as a member?
So we have an app. So everything is done online, as lots of things are done these days. So you can sign up online, you get your membership, and we have a Bluetooth access module. So you use your cell phone with the app, and it just literally scans you in. The door opens and in you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and of course we have security, we have cameras, and we make sure that people who are in the gym are members. We know who they are, that it's being used properly.
Wow.
Safe.
Okay, so because I know gyms that are 24 hours, but it's not really 24 hours. It's like, it's like till 12 p.m. on the weekend, but then it opens at 7. Well, it's not 24 hours.
It's not. Yeah, we are literally 24 hours. So we're not a staffed gym. So if I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not there, I mean, it's completely independent. You can do your own thing. Yeah.
So you said you started, because usually people that are into these things start in their teens and stuff. What happened? How do you decide, this is what I want to do now?
Yeah, good. So I am not your typical fitness professional. I am the opposite of not every, there's probably people like me. Most fitness professionals, I am the opposite. So I did not play sports as a child. I hated sports. I have no desire to watch sports. I'm not like, a big hockey fan or, ooh, am I Canadian even? But I don't watch sports, and I was never interested in sports. And, I think a lot of people who get into fitness later in life have a similar experience to me, where I lost my father. It was due to, many complications of health issues he'd had his whole life, due to him just generally being an unhealthy person. It was sad, and it really scared me straight. Like, I'm sure you've heard that expression, right? So it really put me in a space where I was like, you know what? I don't want to be like that. I want to be healthy, and I want to be fit, and I want to be able to do all the things that I want to do until, the later in life. And I don't want to be in a home when I'm later in life. Like, there was all these things that really ran through my mind. So I hired a personal trainer, and I was like, you know what? I want to be fit. What do I do? And I started doing a lot of different things, just going to the gym on my own, working with a personal trainer, doing a lot of like boot camp style things, which I think is how a lot of people, especially women, access fitness is through boot camps. And this personal trainer actually introduced me to powerlifting. He was running a seminar on powerlifting, and he said, "Oh, you should really come to that." And I was like, "Are you crazy? Why would I do that?" But I went anyway, because I was like, you know what? Don't say no. Just go live some experiences. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the thing. This is the thing that I really like. And I think it's important for people to find the thing that they really like, because that is what keeps you doing it, right?
Because if it's like, oh, fuck,
that's
I have
right.
to do this again,
exactly.
then...
You'll stop. 100%, 100%. Like, do not send me to a boot camp ever again, because I complain the entire time because I hate it so much.
So, but like, what did you love about it?
Just the feeling that I am a lot stronger than I think I am, that I can do hard things. I was raised to be really independent and really, like a fierce, strong, independent person. And this just really reinforced that for me.
Yeah. Holy smokes. Okay, so for, the audience that might not know what powerlifting is, do you want to...
Yeah. So powerlifting is a 3-lift sport. It is the squat, a bench, and a deadlift. And your goal is to lift the most amount of weight that you can lift one time. So your 1 rep max. During competitions, you get 3 attempts at your 1 rep max for each lift. So your training consists of basically lifting heavier weights for less reps. So it's not your typical, 3 sets of 15 or whatever. Like, you're typically doing, like, if I have to do 6 reps, I'm like, wow, that's a lot. So typically I'm training with very heavy weights, but for a smaller amount of reps.
What are some advantages of powerlifting?
Building muscle mass is one huge advantage. So, as you get older, after you hit 40, your muscle mass tends to decrease. And this is why we see people being less mobile later in life, why people need walkers, they have trouble getting out of chairs. When they fall, they break a hip. It's because of reduced muscle mass. So that's one huge advantage. Is in powerlifting, you are just absolutely building muscle mass, like just pure raw strength. My muscle mass is way higher than the average person my age because I train like that. So that's one huge advantage. It builds durability in your joints as well, just makes your joints extra strong. So, hopefully I can avoid that knee replacement or, whatever happens later in life. And because of my age in my late 40s, these are the things I'm thinking about, right? Just trying to keep myself healthy and keep myself mobile and keep myself being able to sit on the toilet and to get off the toilet, right? A lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't squat. You shouldn't squat. It's bad for your knees. Well, I assure you that you sit and stand up multiple times a day. You are squatting. That is a squat.
Wow.
It's good for you.
Okay, I mean, so you found it, you did it, but it's one thing to kind of go to the gym, and then it's another thing to run a gym. What was the transition between just participating versus now, creating this space for people to come?
Yeah, so as a personal trainer, one of the things that I think is the most difficult is working for somebody else. So you can work for a company like Good Life. You will not be paid well. and you will be working your butt off, truthfully. Like, you are selling constantly, you are training constantly, you have to work a lot. So working for yourself as a personal trainer, that's a huge challenge, because there's not a lot of places that will allow you to independently work as a personal trainer. So that's one reason. So now I own the gym. We allow independent personal trainers to come train their clients in our gym. They manage their own business. So they recruit their own clients, they collect payment, whatever they want to charge is completely up to them. They pay a fee, essentially, to train clients in our gym, which is relatively minimal compared to how much personal training actually does cost.
Why so nice?
Why? Because I believe in it, right? Like, it's a business decision as well. Like, I'm not just a nice person. It's not for free.
Yeah.
So there is an advantage to the business. We get to bring people in that may not come in otherwise, because and I cannot work 24/7 being a personal trainer. So having other people there who can train clients and help people along their journey, it's like a win-win. It's good for the business because we are getting some income from those clients coming in. It's a win because we have extra people coming in who may not have known about the gym otherwise. Plus, I get to kind of spread the joy of fitness through multiple people.
Yeah, no, that is actually really true, because like one thing you touched right at the beginning was community and creating a space for, because like, okay. I didn't touch about you being a personal trainer, like owning the gym. So I kind of leapfrog the personal training thing. Why did you decide to become a personal trainer?
I think it's all the same reasons. Wanting to be able to share my passion and my desire to help people. It really just came together into
it worked for me.
Come and
see this thing. Come and see this thing. That worked for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a thing that like I really want to stress is that and you haven't heard me say it, and it's been very intentional. I am not about weight loss. I do not focus on people's weight, because that is not an indicator of anything except gravity. That's what it's an indicator of, gravity. It's about being strong. It's about being fit. It's about being able to do the things you want to do. And what that is different for everybody, right? You want to be able to run a marathon? That's amazing. You should definitely do that. I don't want to run a marathon. I don't want to run, if I'm being honest. Unless somebody's chasing me, I will run. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, people finding their passion and being able to do the things they want to do, not about being smaller, being less, being skinny. Being skinny is not always healthy. It's not always healthy. And for me, it's more about being healthy.
Help. Like, I love that being strong part though, because like I've seen some of those videos, and like just wrapping my mind around people lifting something that's 2, sometimes 3 times their body weight is it blows my mind.
Yes.
How do you so what is the process? Because like, whatever you go to you're not going to lift that heavy at the first time. So what's the, I guess, progression? How do you start and build to where people are lifting all those type of weights?
So great question. Everybody starts somewhere, right? Some people, they're not starting with a barbell. Sometimes they're starting with dumbbells or kettlebells, because that's where they're at. And then you are literally just adding weight or adding reps or adding intensity. And there's a lot of different scientific theories around how to program somebody's workouts. This is something you learn as a personal trainer, is how to periodize programs. So that's like you do blocks of programming where you're doing, say, 3 sets of 10 for 4 to 5 weeks. And you're trying to increase the weight for that period. And then you switch to something else. And then you're doing 4 to 5 sets of 5 reps. So that's where it's going to be heavier weights, and you're doing it for less reps. You're training your body to lift something heavier. And it's all about playing with those numbers to find where you're close to a point where you find it really challenging. There's all kinds of different scales people can use. So rate of a perceived exertion, or RPE, is a scale that people use to judge how heavy something is. And it's out of 10. It's like the pain scale, if you go to a doctor and they're like, what's your pain out of 10, right? It's like essentially that. How difficult is this out of 10? 10 is like,
I
cannot do it one more time. Like, I am literally done. That's all I can do. And then it goes down from there, right? So trying to work with that number. And that feeling, that difficulty feeling, and keeping it as high as you can without burning out.
Wow.
It's a bit of a science.
Yeah. I'm like, I guess I'm one of those people that I just want to start flying,
Yes.
I'm not even crawling and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of how you get injured.
It is exactly how you get injured or how you start to hate it.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Because you're like, the first time you go to the gym, you go full out and then you can't walk for 3 days.
Yeah.
Everyone's been there. Everyone's been there. But having a trainer, and I'm not saying everybody needs a personal trainer, but having somebody sort of mitigate that for you. The first time somebody comes in for a session, I am not maxing them out. They're going to be like, this is so easy. They're still going to feel sore for 2 days because they haven't done that. Right? So it's all about strategy.
I like, for you, do you lift every day or how does that?
For myself, I work out about 3 times a week generally. Okay. If I had time, I might lift 4 times a week. I have a lot going on, so I don't necessarily have time for 4 times a week. There are people that really enjoy being in the gym 5 or 6 days a week.
Oh, wow.
But if you're training for powerlifting, not every day is going to be a heavy day because you're going to need time to recover.
Yeah.
So there's days where you're just doing lighter movements or you're just doing mobility or you're doing a little bit of cardio, that sort of thing.
So talking about powerlifting and all that, how important is getting the right shoes and like the belt and all those things? I like the pads.
Yeah. So I have most of that equipment, but I'm 8 years in.
Okay.
I would say it's not important at all. You need feet. There's lots of people in my gym lift without shoes on because shoes actually can impede your lifts if you don't have flat shoes. So squishy shoes, like most athletic running shoe style, you do not want to wear those when you're weight training.
Okay.
It's like standing on a squishy ball. It's just very difficult to keep your balance. So for the most part, I tell people just take your shoes off. That's totally fine by me. Don't crush your feet, please. That's the only thing. So literally having nothing is great. And for, I would say, probably a year or more, don't touch anything extra because you need to build a base of strength and be able to do the things exactly as you are. So the knee sleeves and the belt and the wrist wraps and all of that stuff can come later if you've reached a point in your lifts where you can't really progress much anymore. They just help give you that extra edge.
What do they do exactly? What do they do?
Oh my gosh. So knee sleeves help keep your knees warm. So, I don't know if you've ever heard the expression motion is lotion, but essentially when you're moving your joints, it creates fluid that helps keep everything mobile and soft, which is what you need. So the knee sleeves just keep your knees warm. Sometimes they provide a little bit of compression, which can help as well. It just helps you feel more stable.
Okay.
A belt helps you brace. It doesn't protect your back. A lot of people think that weightlifting belts protect
that's what
your back.
I thought what it does. Yeah.
All it does is it helps you brace. It gives you something
what is
to
bracing?
So bracing is where you are tightening your core to protect not just this, but all the way around. Not just your stomach, your sides, and your back. You need to brace all the way around. There's a really great analogy of a pop can. So a pop can, before you open it, is hard. You can't squish it, right? You can't compress it. As soon as you release that pressure, you can flatten a pop can, right? So that's what you're trying to achieve with a brace.
So the brace is when it's
all
full.
the way. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's like somebody's gonna punch you in the stomach, right? That really tight feeling.
So that's what it does. Okay.
So the belt just gives you something to kind of press against, so that you are feeling like you're bracing all the way around. It's the same sort of thing. I would recommend people don't use it until it's limiting what they can do.
And then the other one just keeps your wrist in place.
Yeah, the wrist wraps just keep your wrist straight so that when you're bench pressing, or sometimes people use them when they're squatting to try and keep their wrists straight just to prevent them from bending back. You
mentioned the power lifts is 3 lifts. Do you have a favorite of the 3?
Ooh, I love deadlifting.
Oh, that's
So from the ground just till you're standing straight up. It's not the kind where you throw it over your head. That's Olympic lifting, slightly different. And I think I love deadlifting because it's my best lift. It's where I can lift the most amount of weight.
Oh.
So makes me feel good.
Because you're kind of using all of your muscles in a way?
Yes, I would say in all 3 lifts, you should be using all of your muscles. And if you're
Oh.
not, we need to talk.
Wait, when,
You know, when you're bench pressing, everybody thinks, oh, bench press is just your chest. I assure you it is not. If you are not using your legs and you are not using your glutes and
so
you
you
are
have
not
to,
bracing your
kinda
core, you are missing out. Yeah.
That's why you need a personal trainer to
That's
teach
right.
you
That's
that
why you
thing.
need someone. That's why you need someone to help you with that.
Okay, deadlift. And do you so competition, let's talk about that. Like, okay, so you've been lifting and you're like, oh, I feel like, what do you feel prompts people to decide to compete?
Peer pressure.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, peer pressure in the sense that other people in the gym are competing and you're like, oh, and I will tell anyone in the gym, oh, you should compete, because it's incredibly fun. It is, although it's a competition, it is a really positive, encouraging space, and everybody will cheer on everybody, which I think is so empowering. It just makes you feel so good. So this is why I'm like, if you're interested at all in powerlifting, you should definitely just compete. We host what we call unsanctioned meets. So they're meets for people who are beginners, where the rules aren't quite as strict. So we allow, different types of equipment that may not be allowed in a typical powerlifting meet, or, we'll explain things a little bit different. The rules just aren't quite as strict. Low barrier to entry as far as like cost, and you don't need all the specialty equipment. And it's just a great place to be able to test your max. So like see how much you actually can lift in a really just like positive, encouraging environment.
So, it's like weight classes, I guess, right?
Yeah, there's age and weight classes.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
So I can't tell you exactly what they all are. I'd have to go look them up. But yeah, there's different weight classes.
And
so
then you just do your 3 lifts.
You just do your 3 lifts. So it's essentially like heats. So groups of about 10 people typically, and everybody does their first squat, and then everybody does their second squat, and then everybody does their third, and then they do the same for the other 2 lifts.
No, wait, you have to do 3 of each one?
Yeah, you get 3 attempts.
So if I lifted at the first one, do I have to do the next 2?
Typically, your first lift is something you can do. Your second lift is you're adding weight. So can I do more? And then the third lift, again, you add weight. Can I do more?
How much is it, like how much weight do you add with each?
It depends on the person.
So you actually decide, okay, I thought it's like, okay.
No, yeah. So you as an athlete or a competitor,
so I'll say,
with your coach decide.
I'll be like, I want to add 5 pounds or
Yeah.
whatever. And if I lift it, everyone else has to try it out with.
No, everybody gets their own weights.
Oh!
Everybody gets to choose what they want to lift.
Okay.
So although it's a competition, you're more competing against yourself than everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it's not like, hey, we all like in Olympics, everyone has to lift the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, it is a little bit different in that way.
Wow. But, how many people you typically compete is it a day or like?
Usually it's a day. The bigger competitions like provincials or nationals are multi-day events, obviously. A typical local competition is a day, sometimes 2 if it is a really popular one that people want to get in on. Typically 20 competitors in a day. Any more than that, and the day gets really long and people get really tired. So,
do you, like, on competition days, I guess you prepped till today.
Yes.
On the day of, you just, do they do things between lifts to, like, I don't know, stay ready or?
So, you do all your warm-ups before your first lift. So your warm-ups, usually you're doing lighter weights just to get your body ready to lift something heavy. Then you do your first attempt and you basically just wait for your next attempt. It's only a few minutes because there's only 10 people. So if I'm the first person to lift, there's 9 other people, and then it's my turn again. So there's really nothing to do in between besides keep yourself calm.
Wait. And like when you I guess once it's in like the deadlifts, once you are standing up, that's it. You can drop it or put it down.
Put it down essentially. Put it down. There are rules. There are rules. You shouldn't just let the bar go and let it slam down. Mostly because it'll damage the platform that you're on or could damage the plates. Typically, you have to follow it down. I'm not saying it's quiet. It's not quiet, but you do have to, keep your hands on the bar. It can be dangerous if you just let it drop.
Okay, so all the way up, all the way down. Wow.
Yeah.
And does East Coast Barbell do any competitions?
Yeah, we have that. I was talking about the unsanctioned meet. We have that coming up on March 1st.
Oh, okay.
Where we are, it's open to anybody, but it's primarily focused on people who've either never competed before or maybe have only competed once, just want to try out the sport, see if they like it. And then we are planning another bigger meet on July 12th, which will be with a Powerlifting Federation, which there's a couple of them.
So that one will be sanctioned?
Sanctioned,
because it has a powerlift.
Yeah. At a sanctioned meet, you can actually break records. There are records provincially, nationally, internationally. So at a sanctioned meet, you can actually break a record if you lift the most for your weight class and your age.
Wait, do they... so is it like a total of like your squats and your dead and the thing, or is it like the heaviest squats you did versus the heaviest...
Heaviest squat, heaviest bench, heaviest deadlift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I've seen some of those things and I'm like, that's insane. The amount of weight these people can move. Like, it's so... And you kind of do it once, but you can see how much effort goes into
when you're training for a meet, you do something called peaking, which is where you are getting very specific with lifting really heavy weights right up until the competition, and your body feels beaten up, honestly. Like, it's exhausting. For me personally, the last 2 weeks of training before a competition, I am just incredibly fatigued and so incredibly tired. But then you get to that competition and you're, the adrenaline and like, it's just so exciting. And you do your very best and then you go back to training the next week.
Oh, fuck, no brains.
It's honestly, I know it sounds crazy, but it's so fun. And when you break a record, it is the pièce de résistance. It's so good. It feels so good.
And okay, you've done it 8 years now. When you compete?
I do compete.
When was your last one and how was it?
Yeah, so my last competition was just in January of 2024. I did okay. I didn't train very well for it. I went as a team with a bunch of people from the gym. So we all drove up to Sydney and competed like together. Everybody had their own age and weight class, but we were all there representing the gym. We were representing East Coast Barbell. It was really, really fun.
Is that a thing, Matt? Like, do they have like teams compete?
It's not teams officially in the competition.
Oh, it's just like, this is who we are.
This is who we are. We went as a group,
gotcha.
and it was so fun.
Okay.
So at that competition, I broke the provincial record for both squat and deadlift.
Oh my God.
Yep. And at the previous August of 2023, I broke a national record for deadlift.
You're pretty fucking awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
So cool.
It is so cool. And this is what drives me to keep doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you going to compete in any of these things?
Yeah.
Because you're like organizing, you can't compete, right?
Yeah. When I'm organizing, I can't compete. I can't do both things at the same time. I'm not that good. But there is a competition coming up the end of March that I'm going to do in the Valley, which I'm really excited about because it's been over a year. So
yeah. How do you prepare? So, like, have you been preparing for this competition coming up?
Generally, your prep or your peak that I was talking about is about 12 weeks. So I'm just kind of at the beginning of that right now. So now I'm still good now.
So for 12 weeks, you're just doing heavy.
It just gets progressively heavier and progressively more difficult. And then by the end of that 12-week prep, I will be exhausted and I will be grumpy.
For each week, 3 days a week, or
yes, yeah. 3 days a week.
And like when you're there, how long are you for that day? Like
it depends on how chatty I am. because I own the gym and because I know lots of people, right. I tend to be pretty chatty. So if I'm not chatty, an hour.
Okay.
If I am chatty, an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And the typical workout session is just lifting weights? That's it?
I mean, yes, but no. So not just squat, bench, and deadlift.
Oh.
So I have a coach as well. Coaches need coaches too. Okay. I strongly believe that.
Okay.
If I were to program for myself, I wouldn't program anything that I don't like, which is usually the things I need to be doing.
Right.
So I have a coach as well, and they program my workouts for me. So I open my app and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. So it's deadlifts, and then it's, other things, leg press or lat pull downs or whatever. Like there's a list of things that I have to do.
Oh, okay. So it's not just the lifts.
Yeah, it's not just the lifts and then the walk out. That would be fun.
And I mean, we've talked about all the positives and stuff. Like, whatever happens, someone gets injured. What are ways the person can navigate, like, getting better before they get back to lifting?
Yeah. So I would say nobody should ever stop lifting.
Oh.
Yeah. It's modifications, right?
Right.
So if you are let's say you injure your knee, just, as an example, and you still want to squat because you still want to move your knee, but maybe you're changing the range of motion that you're using. You're not squatting as deep. Okay. Or maybe the weight is a little bit lighter, or you're using a different type of bar, or you're just using
a different type of bar?
There are different types of bars that you can use.
Oh, okay.
To distribute the weight differently. Or maybe you're just using dumbbells for a little while, right? There's ways to modify it where you're not experiencing pain and it's part of your rehab process.
So not just like,
don't just quit. Don't just quit. Because that's what people do. They just quit. They're like, hurt my knee. No can do this whole lifting thing anymore.
How about the other one? So this is the opposite of you. They like ran track in school and did all the things, and then they had kids and stopped. And then they're like, okay, 10, 15, whatever year, they're like, I want to do it again. They had kind of like experience for a while, but there's this gap where they didn't do anything. They want to start again. How do they approach that?
I would say the same way as literally anybody else, which is hire a trainer. So muscle memory is amazing. It comes back so quick. If you haven't, squatted in 15 years, I can almost guarantee you still know how to squat. It's just a matter of choosing your weights properly, making sure your form is good, but generally speaking, people who have experience in weight training in literally any capacity, even if it was just dry land because of hockey or whatever, that muscle memory is there. It's just a matter of accessing it and getting going.
Wow. Okay, then, the audience are like, okay, I'm in. How do they check out East Coast Barbell?
So go on our website, probably the best way. eastcoastbarbell.ca is our website, and there you will find all the services we offer. You can sign up for memberships. Everything is accessible there. You can find us on Instagram at eastcoast_barbell. And if you message our Instagram account, you will get me. I will be happy to respond to any questions.
Nice. Okay. There's this question a friend asked me a while ago. It stuck with me, and I'm like, I always end conversations with any guest with that question. It's like, I said, oh, why so nice? But like, what is something that happened, before you were 17 that's played a huge role in who Laura is today?
Yeah, I would say probably I talked about my dad a little bit. So he never treated me any differently than anyone else in his life. So I was raised to be strong and independent and be able to take care of myself. And I think that has led me down this path of not being afraid to try new things, not being afraid to just jump in with 2 feet and go for it.
Wow. Thanks again, for sharing that story about your dad and how it, prompted you to do this and kind of start this awesome business. You brought so much magic to the studio, so I thought I should let you go with a little bit of magic on my own.
Okay.
So you write a number. Don't show me though. Write a number between 1 and 60. Once you have it, you can show any of the cameras. And I'm gonna use these magic cards to try and figure out what your number is.
Okay.
Hopefully it should work. Okay. So your number is going to be in one of these cards.
Okay.
But it can be more than one.
Yes.
So I'll need your help now. Is your number here?
No.
Oh, that's okay. Is it here?
Yes.
Okay. Is it here?
Yes.
All right. Here.
No.
No. And here.
Yes.
Okay. And here.
Yes.
Okay. 15.
It is 15. Correct. That is magic. I love it.
Magic.
I love magic.
Laura, thank you so much and for coming to the podcast today and for the awesome thing you're doing at East Coast Barbell. Like, I've always thought of doing it. I think for me, it's because Instagram, that's what everyone is. Like, I'll watch people doing this, and I'm always like, how is that tiny person lifting that heavy weight? And I'm like, I'm going to try it. But at least I know there's a place where I can have access to it. Literally 24/7.
Literally. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to the podcast today.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.